the case of the Kansas City Three struck my attention because I saw that uh, that these three young men, the charges brought against them, troubled me, and it troubled me because I saw a double standard being used by the federal courts of the United States and by the uh, Justice Department of the United States as they brought these criminal charges against these four men. In my opinion, they are freedom fighters. Now, why do I say this? And I do not say this lightly. When you look not at what the charges are of the United States has brought against them, which are the charges of conspiracy, uh, material support, that is, raising monies, but raising monies for what purpose? The United States says they were raising monies to support terrorism. But who are the terrorists? The terrorists are not Francis Cheney, Paul Chi, Lamnester Langham. Uh, the terrorists are the dictator being supported by the United States, even though President Biden says that he supports democratic processes and are against totalitarianism. Now, what were the so called Kansas City Three, doing actually? They were raising monies in support of what? Raising monies in support of defending their people from murder, mayhem, mass killings, displacement at the hands of President Beer. This is not Hinds saying this. This is recorded by Human Rights Watch. It's recorded by Amnesty International. It's reported by the international human rights organizations who are looking at what has been happening in the English speaking Cameroon at the hands of the Francophone. But what have these individuals, these three young men, charged with? As I look at the charges, they are being charged with this the very gravamen of the violation is that they were raising monies to support a resistance movement back home. A resistance against what? Resistance against the killing and the maiming of their
Yeah.
families and other people in Amazonia. But what struck me was the duplicity,
Yeah.
the the double standards being
Yeah.
applied. Now, let us take a look at foreign wars in which the United States may not be a direct party. That is, the United States is not being attacked, as in the case
Yeah.
of the Civil War going on or the War of Self Determination in Cameroon. Let's look at Ukraine. Now, the United States is not at war with Russia. There is a armed conflict involving Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
United States citizens, as quietly as it's kept, are leaving the United States. They're not just sending arms. United States citizens are enlisting and fighting with the Ukrainians against the Russians
Yeah.
in violation of United States federal law. Look at the war in Gaza. Look at what's happening in Gaza. Now, there's no question about it that Hamas committed war crimes and crimes against humanity. If you look at the history of the United States in terms of the United States struggles for independence from the United Kingdom, from England, George Washington, who is the father of the United States, in the 1770s, if you went to England, there'll be big posters of him wanted dead or alive. He was considered to be a terrorist. If the British had captured him, they would string him up. But what did we call George Washington? A freedom fighter. These three young men have put their lives on the line for you.
Yeah.
They are your heroes.